Okay, so what if I told you there's a story about an alien crash landing, but it's not some Hollywood blockbuster? We're talking about a story that was supposedly etched into stone discs 12,000 years ago. Today, we're diving into the incredible and super controversial legend of the Dropa Stones. Yeah, I know, it sounds pretty out there, right? But that's the central mystery we're exploring. Could a message from a past so distant it predates, well, most of recorded history, actually survive on something as simple as a stone disk? Let's find out. So, where does this all start? Well, not in the distant past, actually. It starts in the 20th century with a pretty remarkable discovery, high up in the Himalayan mountains. So, try to picture this. It's 1938. You've got this team of Chinese archaeologists way out in the remote Bayanhar mountains. And inside a cave, they don't find the usual stuff. No pottery, no old tools. What they supposedly find are these really strange circular stone discs, kind of like ancient vinyl records. And this is where the timeline just gets, wow. Mind-bending is the only word for it. Because the story these stones allegedly tell, it didn't happen in 1938. Nope. It dates all the way back 12,000 years to a crash landing that would predate pretty much all of recorded human history. Okay, so they find these discs, but what did they actually say? This is where the story takes a turn from, that's a weird archaeological find, to something else, something truly extraordinary. Well, according to the story, the stones gave these visitors a name, the Dropa. The inscription said they were the survivors from a space probe, from a totally different planet that ended up meeting a disastrous end right here on Earth. And some of the translated bits, they paint this incredible picture. One passage apparently said the dropper came down from the clouds in their flying crafts. It goes on to describe how the local tribes, men, women, and children, they all hid in caves, totally terrified at first. But then, slowly, they realized that these newcomers actually meant them no harm. And this is the key part of the story. This wasn't just a quick visit. The Dropa were stranded. The stones tell a story of how they just couldn't fix their ship. They couldn't get back home. They were basically refugees on a world that wasn't theirs. Now, you might be thinking, this is a nice story about a peaceful first encounter, but that's not how it goes. Things took a really dark turn. That initial understanding, it didn't last. This is where the tragedy really kicks in, according to the legend. The Dropa, they came in peace, but the local Ham tribe, they met them with hostility. The story goes that the tribesmen actually hunted these visitors down, even killed them. I mean, what a brutal welcome for a group that was already stranded and just trying to survive. And for a while, that was pretty much the whole story. But then years later, another discovery was supposedly made, and it just added this whole new mysterious layer to everything. 700. Just let that sink in. That's how many more of these discs were apparently found. So we're not talking about just a few artifacts anymore. This was like finding a massive library of these bizarre records. And get this, who found them? It wasn't some university team. It was a military archaeological team. As soon as you hear military involvement, you know the stakes just got way higher. It suggests this was being looked at as something much more than just an old legend. And right here is where this 12,000-year-old story comes crashing right into the 20th century, into the world of spying and global politics. Think about it. If there was even a shred of truth to this story, it would mean the Chinese government might have actual physical proof of alien life. And for the United States, especially during that time of intense competition, this wasn't just some weird story. No, this was potential intelligence. The US absolutely wanted to know what China knew about UFOs, and these stones were Exhibit A. So you see how a story supposedly written in stone 12,000 years ago somehow finds its way into the middle of modern spy games. It's a pretty wild journey from an ancient myth to a geopolitical hotspot. And that's really where the legend is today. It's a story with way more questions than answers. And to be clear, a lot of researchers have totally dismissed it as just an elaborate hoax. But whether it's true or not, it really makes you wonder, right? If a story like this can grab our attention for decades, what other incredible secrets, real or not, might the world still be hiding?